Well, here we are at Zabel's farm, and the dry stone walls here are beautiful historical examples of the work of German migrants in the 1850s. Daniel, I want to talk with you about, from a development planning perspective, why we need to factor in dry stone walls.
Dry stone walls need to be shown on the development plans to ensure that the appropriate space is provided for the walls, so they're protected and conserved for future generations to enjoy.
Which plans in particular need to include dry stone walls?
All plans should show dry stone walls, and that's from inception of the development all the way through to the construction phase. So precinct structure plans, development plans, subdivision layout plans, functional layout plans, road and drainage civil plans, and landscape plans. And this just means that at no point through the development the dry stone walls are missed, and from the inception of these developments the appropriate space is given for these walls.
Let's talk about underground infrastructure. Why do we need to factor in 2.5 metres either side?
So the 2.5 metre offset for the dry stone walls is to ensure that we have appropriate space to maintain the walls on either side, and as well as that, if we do have any services any closer than that 2.5 metres, we might be undermining the foundations of these dry stone walls, which is going to cause them to fail prematurely.
Let's talk about stormwater management strategies.
Stormwater management strategies need to factor in the dry stone walls. We need to ensure that overland flow paths don't run perpendicular to these dry stone walls, they run parallel, just so they don't compromise the wall with this additional water from the development flowing through. As well as that, if we are installing any underground drainage infrastructure, we want that to run parallel to the wall as opposed to through the wall, just so we're again protecting the wall as best we can and we're not going to compromise the foundation. If we do need to install any underground drainage perpendicular to the wall, we'd like to see that done through boring, which is going to protect the wall as best we can, as opposed to open cut trenching and having to rebuild the wall.
And Daniel, finally, with regards to underground infrastructure and locating it near a dry stone wall, how do we go about reducing risk?
So when we're installing underground infrastructure near a dry stone wall, we need to make sure that that's outside of the 2.5 metre landscape reserve. This is not only to protect the dry stone wall and its foundation, but also protect workers from an occupational health and safety point of view. If we are installing infrastructure that's running perpendicular to the wall, it needs to be bored to further protect the wall and its foundations.
There must be some instances, Daniel, where part of a wall needs to be demolished.
Yeah, so there are instances where we need to demolish portions of dry stone walls to allow for roads and footpaths to cut through. In instances like this, a professional dry stone waller needs to be on site to supervise the demolition of these walls, and a professional dry stone waller will also need to reconstruct the ends of the walls at the completion.
Daniel, thank you so much for sharing your engineering expertise with us and your passion for dry stone walls.